Welcome to another module of Qimeng Academy. In this lesson, we are going to focus on the concept of Qimeng Feng Shui. Now, when it comes to change, there are two things that we can really change. Either A, we change ourselves, or B, we change the environment. Okay, so there are only two things that we can really change. So sometimes people find changing themselves, their attitude, their character, their decisions easier, so they work on themselves. But if that is too difficult for you, well, don't worry. Change your environment, or change your living space, or change your home. Change, the place that you spend time in, because the energy of the environment, your home, your office, or your business, that can influence you. So this topic here focuses largely on how you could do that. When you master your space, you can actually use the energies from the environment to support your life goals or life endeavors. So just a quick recap here. We are still using, of course, the system of Qimeng Dunjia. Now, Qimeng Dunjia, it's a pretty wide scope of metaphysics. Most of the books they buy, in nowadays, even written by a lot of Taiwanese or Hong Kong authors, they lump all the subcategories of Qimeng Dunjia together. But in my school, in what we teach our students, I categorize them into these 8 categories. Well, they all are part of Qimeng Dunjia, but there is a part where I specifically use it for destiny. That's the Qimeng Pathfinder that you have already printed out. The strategic execution, the solutions to the problems in life. Okay. Of course, you have Qimeng forecasting, that is about trying to understand or anticipate, the outcomes of your activities, or trying to understand the problems or the cause of certain problems that you are currently facing. And of course, Qimeng Feng Shui. This is a very important topic, and we're going to address the important parts or the essential parts here in this module, where we're going to talk about how we can use our living space to help us solve certain problems or enhance certain aspects of our lives. So what I'm going to share with you in this module are extracts from Qimeng Feng Shui. So for those of you who are already seasoned practitioners of Feng Shui, you'll find that this topic is highly valuable for you, because it adds on to your practice as a Feng Shui consultant. Now, for those of you who are new to Feng Shui, that's okay too, because you're going to learn some very simple methods where you could empower your space. And all you need to do is understand exactly what I'm going to share with you, and you can apply it to your living space immediately. And this module, we are going to talk about how you can look at your own house, the place that you live in right now, and which are the power locations or energy locations that you could use to support your life goals. So if you find it too difficult to change yourself, well, try changing your living space. Now, let's start off with the basics. For all Feng Shui systems or practices, there are these 4 extremely important criteria. There are 4 aspects to it. The first and foremost is the environment, then followed by the building, then the residence and time. Now, there are different weightage to each of these components here. Some aspects of Feng Shui places more importance on the environment. A lot places the emphasis on the building itself, meaning your floor plans. Some will focus on the people and their date and time of birth, what orientations and directions are suitable for them, whereas the time aspect actually focus on when a certain property or certain location within the property will have high energy, or certain time will have low energy, or when a property will become prosperous, and when that same property can actually go downhill where the energy dissipates. So these 4 things is what Feng Shui is all about. Now, Qimeng Feng Shui also uses these 4 things. In fact, all systems of Feng Shui talks about these 4 things, okay? I'm sure if you are a fan of metaphysics studies, you probably have heard of this term called Feng Shui, and then you hear different things, different people say different things, right? The reason for that is because different schools of Feng Shui will have different criteria on what constitutes good Feng Shui. Okay, so different schools means different systems. But here's the one thing that is common, this principle. This is common in all authentic schools of Feng Shui. Feng Shui basically is a tool or a system to, ascertain the energies of our living environment and how it affects us. Qimeng Feng Shui assesses your energy of your environment using the Qimeng Dunjia system. For this module, we are going to concentrate here on the building. So we're going to focus on your living space. Obviously, to study this, the first thing that you need right now is your floor plan. Okay, so please go and get a copy of your property floor plan right now. Your living space, if you live in an apartment, it's got to be your apartment plans. If you live in a house, it's got to be your house plans. You got to have a to-scale plan. Now, if you don't have one right now, please try and draw one up at this point in time. I know it's not to scale if you're drawing it, but try and get one from your developers or an architect that designed your house. As much as possible, try to be accurate down to the measurement, because by looking at the floor plans and demarcating into the correct direction shortly, then you would be able to determine which areas have the positive energy and so forth, and then you know which space you should be using to enhance your life. So go right now to get your floor plans. So click on the pause button right now, go get your floor plans, and then come back here and then continue. All right, so I hope now you have your floor plans. Now, here's what you need to do with the floor plans. The first step is to determine the facing direction of your house. The second step is to determine the location of the door. Now, to do this, I will explain in detail how this is done, okay? First, the facing direction of the house. Sometimes this is quite a confusing subject to a lot of people because they simply don't know the facing of the house. Most houses are not that complicated, okay, unless they are talking about a really complex and bizarre design that they don't even know what the facing is, like a round house, for example, right? But most of the time, most properties have a clearly defined facing. The facing means it's the orientation. Now, you notice that I didn't say that this is the direction of the door, because most people assume, oh, is that my main entrance? If my main entrance is looking out, is that the direction of the house? Well, sometimes the architect would design the main entrance to be the same direction as the house, but not all the time, okay? Sometimes the house is designed to face the park, but the property may have a door that is facing the garage, for instance. So some properties, the door and the house orientation is the same. It looks like this. So it's designed, the architect knows that I should put the main door with the orientation of the house. But some houses like this, for example, while there's an orientation to the main road, but the main door, as you could see, it's not oriented to the orientation of the house. And this is quite common here in Malaysia or even in Singapore to have houses that are designed like this. Okay, so the orientation of the house and the door is two different things. Now, we need the facing of the house to plot the chart. We don't need the facing of the door. We need the location of the door though. Okay, now of course you may be a little bit confused if you're a beginner, like location and direction, what is the difference? Don't worry, we'll come to that. I will explain all this in detail, just be a bit patient, okay? So let's just go with orientation for now. Now, a house orientation is the way the house is built. Look at this picture. This is how a house is built to face to, let's say, a park. It's built to face the park. Now, some architects would put the door right at the facing where the orientation is to face the park. Sometimes they don't. Okay, the house facing is to the park, but the door is to the garage, like this. And for some cases, and I see this a lot in Florida, they have a nice water or a lake at the back or river at the back of the house, because the house is designed to face the river or the canal or the lake. And then the door is on the roadside. Okay, so the house facing is facing the water, whereas the door is facing towards the road at the back. You see that? So what do we need? We need the house facing. The facing of the house, nothing to do with the direction of the door. Okay, so watch this over and over again. If you are not so certain, don't worry. The notes itself I provided for you have further clarifications of facing of a property. So facing a property in general, in a nutshell, it is the way the property is designed to face. Here's another example. Look at this. This is an apartment unit. The apartment units facing normally, look at that, that's the balcony, they're all designed to face that direction. Whereas if you look internally at the unit, the door of that unit is actually to an alley inside. Can you see that right now? So the door cannot be where the balcony is, okay? So the balcony faces one direction, whereas the door is actually internally, it faces the alley inside. Okay, so that's apartment units. If you live in a high rise, that's you're facing, and your door direction is obviously different. Okay, so we are taking the facing. That's the first criteria, remember? Okay, at some HDB flats in Singapore, if you're talking about Singapore, the door of the unit also faces the same direction like this. So that is the whole facing of the unit, like so. Okay, so this is a clear design of facing and door, which is the same. Sometimes it's the same. Okay, so again, don't worry, we're just trying to locate the orientation of the building itself. So it's quite simple. So that was the first criteria, the facing direction of the house. The second criteria you need is the location of the door. Check out this keyword, location, not direction, location. So I want to explain location to you clearly, okay? So there is a difference between direction and location. Now let's look at this example here. The direction that this person is facing, the direction, he's looking at north. But he's also located in the north area. Okay, so we take a grid here and you could see this is the northwest area, this is the north area, northeast area, the east area, southeast, the south, southwest, and the west. These are zones. Okay, now let's check this out. He can still be at the north area, but now his direction is looking towards southwest. This is the difference between location and direction. Location is where is something located, whereas direction is the orientation of whatever you're talking about. Okay, so you see here, this person is in the west sector and he's looking at the north direction. So this is location in the west and he is oriented to the direction of north. Okay, now here's a different scenario because I'm using a human being, right? Now, remember the criteria was house facing and the second criteria was door location. Okay, now I want you to look at this examples here. This is an example of a door located in the west area. Door located in the west, but it's facing to the north. Okay, door located in the west. How do we know? Because we put the grid, the direction, the compass direction over the property, and you see the door, it's in the west area. Now I'm just making it simple to have the north, south, east, west without the 24 directions right now. I'm just making it simple. I'm just using the 8 simple directions. So here's another scenario. The door now is located at the north area and facing north. Can you see that? Now what do we need? The criteria again. The criteria says we want to talk about the location of the door. So we are trying to find the exact location of the door in relation to the facing direction of the house. So 2 criteria you need to plot the Cheeman chart. Now, don't worry, you don't really have to plot the chart because I've actually provided the charts for you in your notes. You just need to find out, based on your floor plans right now, what is the facing direction of the house and what is the location of the door based on the compass direction. And of course, at this point, how do I use the compass? Now, in order to demarcate a house, you need this tool. This tool here, it's called the Feng Shui compass. It's called the 24 mountains or the 24 directions. It's in your notes. It corresponds to the actual magnetic direction of your compass. So if you take out, even using your phone compass and it points to north, the 0 degrees in the north is the exact 0 degrees of this stencil. Okay, so once you demarcate the 0 degrees on your floor plans, the north, then you take this stencil and you put it over the house, then you will have the actual orientation, north, south, east, west, and its zone. It's actually quite simple. Okay, so what you need to do is print this 24 mountains or 24 directions. I call it 24 mountains because it's called the 24 mountains template. It's a direct translation. If you don't like that term, it's called the 24 directions. Okay, because there are 24 zones in here. Print this out right now onto a transparency film, so you could use that over your floor plan. Okay, so it becomes really easy. So let me show you how this is done. So let's say this is your floor plan. This is an example, of course. We just draw this up for easy reference, and we put the compass direction over the floor plan, and now we know the zones. Now, of course, the actual compass will align to north, south, east, west. Now, the question is, where is the center? You need to be roughly somewhere at the center of your property to actually do this so-called measurement. Now, I know the correct way is to measure outside because it's not influenced by the magnetic field. But remember, you guys are just beginners, so plus minus a couple of degrees is fine, because we're not going down to the extreme level of feng shui where you gotta pinpoint to the exact degree of the measurements. Not necessary. You just need to know the rough estimate of the direction of a property. So you can actually do that from the center of the property. So find out generally where's the center of your home, and then you stand there and then you just align the compass. So put the 24 directions onto your floor plans like so, and now you know the north, south, east, west areas of your property. It's that simple. Now remember the two criteria. Okay, so from the floor plan, you need to decide. Now after you put the 24 directions on the floor plan, you need to decide the two things here. Okay, from it you got to mark down two things. Number one, where's the facing direction of the house? Based on your judgment, based on what you feel or know, that's the orientation. And the second thing is based on the 24 directions, where is the door located? I'm going to show you how this is done. So here's an example of a floor plan, and let's mark down the direction. So direction is facing south, simple. But can you see here, the door based on the 24 mountain direction is located at southwest 2, the sector. Look carefully. Now, don't worry, the same chart is actually in your notes as well. So the house orientation, the facing is south, door sector or door location is at the southwest 2. So these two pieces of information. Let's look at another example. Let's check this plan out. Now this is an empty chart, empty floor plan. Now let's put the 24 mountains on top, the 24 direction of the compass on top, and you see it right now? Cool. So this property actually faces to the west. The orientation is the west, but check out where the door is. The door is at the northeast sector, northeast 1 in fact. So house facing west, door at the northeast 1 sector. Now, you notice that I didn't say anything about the door direction because I wasn't measuring the direction of the door. I'm talking about where the door is located based on this chart, the location. Here's another example. Okay, so this property here faces southeast, and the sector, the location of the door is in the east sector, east 3 sector. Can you see that? Southeast orientation, east 3 sector door. Let's do another one. Here's another example. Look at this property now. Now, let's say you look at it, you study it, and you discovered that the direction of this property faces to southwest. This is the southwest orientation of the property. And the sector of the door is at south 3. Can you see that? The door, main door location, south 3. So the two pieces of information that we need, number one is the facing of the house, and the second is the location of the door. Now, why do we need this? The reason we need this is so that we could get the charts, so that we could plot the right chart. Now, here's how you get the right chart. So you have a typical floor plan like this. I'm going to just show you how you get the chart one more time. So this is a direction, orientation of the property. So let's find out. So look for the chart that says house facing northeast. because that's what the house is facing, and the door sector south 3. Okay, now there could be some other sectors as well, but one of them is south 3. So northeast, south 3. This is your Chi Men chart. Now you also notice some numbers. If you are a Flying Star, Xuan Kong Flying Star Feng Shui student or practitioner, you will know what these numbers means. But if you don't know, it's fine, because we are only going to focus on the Chi Men aspect right now. Okay, so this chart here, you take this chart and then we superimpose it over the property. So now you need to take this and superimpose over the floor plan. Now, because it is the actual orientation, and based on this chart, now let's transfer. Okay, transfer to the sector in accordance to the sector one by one. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There you go. Okay, now this is in accordance to the actual orientation. All the elements are in the chart. So you do this for your property. So you take a floor plan and transfer it inside. Let's do another one just in case. So here is another floor plan. For example, so step 1, determine the facing. Step 2, determine the location of the door. So we're going to do this. So let's say now you put a compass over and you determine that the direction is facing to the northwest direction. That is the front side of the house. So that's called a facing. And then you see where the door is and you discover that it is the East 3 sector. So the door location is here. So check your notes. You have the exact same floor plans. So house facing northwest, the door sector East 3. Now, before I give you the answer, can you try and search through your notes for the Chi Men chart of this house? Let's click the pause button right now, and for you, go and search for that house chart and see if you find the right one, and then come back to this lesson. Let me show you how to superimpose it. Okay, did you see this chart? House facing northwest, door sector East 3. So you'll get this chart. All right, so what do you do now? You take this chart and you need to put it into this property, which means you basically need to take the northwest information and put it at the northwest area, because it's northwest here. You take the north information and you put it on this quadrant, and then you take the northeast to the northeast zone here, the east to the east, the southeast to the southeast, and so forth. So we do the transfer. So let me show you how this is done. So here you see, one by one we transfer northwest to northwest, then the north to the north, the northeast to the northeast, the east to the east, the southeast to the southeast sector, then the south to the south, and then southwest to the southwest, and then the west to the west. That's it. Simple. So this is we call this superimposing the Chi Men chart over the floor plans. The next step is to analyze these floor plans. So what I want you to do right now is to do this for your house or your apartment unit right now. So once you have done that and done all the transferring and got the right chart for it, then I want you to come back to this lesson. Then we're going to do the interpretation of what the chart means, and you can find out how the Chi Men energy is affecting your home and how it's affecting you. So do this right now and then come back to this lesson. Welcome back. So now, I trust that you have the correct Chi Men chart over floor plans right now. Okay, now I want you to look at 5 important things. When it comes to Feng Shui, when you're trying to analyze the property and what are the important things in your property, there are only basically 5 things that we are really looking at. Okay, the most important is the location or the energy that is affecting the main door. If the energy that is coming in from the main door is good quality, positive, vibrant, and fantastic, everyone in the entire household will benefit. So that's why in Feng Shui, one of the most important factors is the analysis of the main door. The next things that they are also extremely important are the bedrooms, because it is assumed that you spend a lot of time sleeping or just lazing around in the house, and normally you'll be in the bedroom. So you want that zone, that area to have positive Chi Men configurations. So if you have a good bedroom, what it means by a good Chi Men Feng Shui bedroom is when the bedroom is located with positive attributes. I will tell you what those positive attributes are shortly, but for now, I need you to know that this is one of the important factors. Now, but it only depends if you're one of those that spend a lot of time in the bedroom, right? For the modern, household and working class people, for example, or especially the startups, a lot of people spend more time in their study or work room. For example, me, my home office, I spend a lot of time in my home office doing work, doing my thinking. So I would put more importance on the location of the study room because I spend a lot of time there. I don't sleep that much. So this is important, okay? So it depends on how you use your space, yeah? So for some people, they don't have a study room, but they spend a lot of time in the dining room, like majority, like 50% of the time they spend there because they do their work, they eat there, they work there, they do their discussions there. So it is all about the important places that you use all the time. But normally we don't classify dining room in that area because most people use a study room, okay? So that is an important factor. If you live in a high rise, then the balcony is an important aspect. If you don't live in a high rise, you live in a landed property like a house, then this is not important, okay? We ignore this. The stove, the kitchen, the stove needs good energy. The reason why the kitchen is an important factor in feng shui analysis is because the food of the entire household is cooked in that area. So if it has positive vibration, positive energy, then the health of the people of the household is good. So these are the 5 important areas. So let's put this visually how it looks like. For example, this is the main door. So we want to look at the energies that are around the main door. Your Qi chart will show you whether it's good or bad. The workroom or the study room, the bedroom where you sleep, the stove in the kitchen, or the balcony if this is an apartment unit. So do the same for your floor plan right now. Identify these 4 or 5 things, just mark them out. And now I want to show you how to analyze them, okay? So take note of your Qi chart that you have superimposed over your floor plans and find out what are in those areas. Then you will know whether they are positive or negative. So let's start with the 8 doors. Now, if any of these 4 doors are located in any of those sectors that you have highlighted or marked, like your main door, for example, or your bedroom, for example, or your kitchen, or your study room, your workroom, it's fantastic. And there's a difference between all these types of energy. The open door is extremely good for position, power, authority, high ranking. It's all about creating opportunities. It's a door of success. So basically, this is called the success sector of the property. So it enhances all the whatever flying stars that you have in the sector. If you're studying flying star feng shui, let's say you don't know flying star feng shui, is fine. You just know that this is a good area. For those of you who are studying Xuan Kong Feng Shui, even if the numbers are not so great, with this door in there, you will be able to create the opportunities, find the opportunities even within those so-called negative stars. This is a very good door to have. I usually like to have the sector of the study room or the place of working or thinking, anything used to make money or for your career, that will be the open door. If you have a job but you want a career, use open door because this is called the door of career, not door of job, okay? A job is basically work, but career is something that you work towards and build for yourself. Now the rest door is extremely good door for family and relationship and for reproduction. So for those people who are wanting to have good health, great relationships, bonding, or increase in population of the house, they normally will position the bedroom or the sleeping room in the rest sector. This is a great family room or a good bedroom to be using. And the life door is one of the best if you are in pursuit of wealth or investment. Now, there are many ways to make money. Most of the time when you do conventional feng shui, you gotta plot where the star 8 is, the star 9 or star 1 in flying stars, and you think that that's the wealth star. But what's the capacity of it? If those so-called feng shui wealth stars land on a Qi life door, it can 10x the entire star. Because the life door itself is the star of wealth opportunities. It's the difference between how many zeros you have in terms of your opportunities or your business endeavors. So life door greatly enhances the wealth creation or capacity of the original feng shui that you have. So we always like the life door to be in the study room, or especially the door, or even the balcony if you are talking about a high-rise building here. So if you have a property and your life door is at where your main door location is, this house is a wealth house. Or if you have a high-rise building where your balcony is actually facing in a location where the life door is and there's an open space outside, there's immense opportunities when you stay in this particular unit here. Okay, and finally the scenery door. The scenery door is a positive energy, vibration, happy door. You see, the purpose of life generally is people want to be happy and fulfilled, right? I mean, there's certain things that people want to make money or have a relationship or have great health and all that, but ultimately you want to be happy, you want to be fulfilled. Door of scenery is the door of happiness. So if you have this door as your main living space, your bedroom for example, or your main door, or your dining room, or your kitchen for example, there are going to be a lot of happy events, celebrations, people coming together, unite, happy. It may not be a very rich household, but you're rich in terms of family bonding, you love each other. It's a great sector to have. Now, needless to say, any of these black colored doors are not exactly conducive. So we don't like the harm door because there's argument and dispute. However, it is a good door to have if you're in physical activities like sports, for example. It's good for sportsmen. It's good for people who exert physical energy to make money. For example, you are a person who build things, a carpenter, for example, or a sportsman, for example, or you drive sports cars. That harm door is great. Okay. Fear door is good for talking. Okay, it's psychologists like it, people who are strategists love it, but generally if you overuse fear door, you're always under a lot of stress and pressure. While if you are a flying star feng shui practitioner, you discover that sector has great flying stars, but if a fear door is on that sector, you make money but you're extremely stressed, because another word for this sector is called door of stress, door of worries. Okay, just because you're rich doesn't mean you have no worries, right? So be careful of this one. Okay, door of delusion. Door of delusion is good for studying. It's a door where you are not disturbed, not a sector where you cut off your connections with other people. Now, if you are a hermit, if you are a spiritual person who don't like to be disturbed, this is a perfect sector for you. Or it's great for people who want some peace. But if you're not one of those, you're lonely, for example, and you really want to connect with people, then this is not a good sector to be. The only sector that we truly want to avoid is the death door, because the death door means the energy is stuck. So if you are in that area, you're stuck, you're in a stagnation mode, your business is not growing, your life is not moving forward, and a lot of things are not, fulfilling. That is, of all the 8, the death door is one of the ones that you truly would like to avoid. Okay, now of course you'll be thinking, typical of most people at this point is, how do I fix it, right? How do I cure it? Listen, just move away from that area. That's it. Move away from that area. So if you can't fix the door, it's fine, but spend more time in the bedroom, which is good, for example. It's a question of how much time you spend in that area. Let the positive chi flow in from good areas of the property. That's one way of fixing this problem. So you can't change the door, let's say, but you can always allow the balcony to have more positive energy to come in and spend a bit more time there doing your reading and studying, or you spend more time in a specific room that has positive energy. That's how you fix it too. Okay, now there's another layer to the chart, and that layer is called the 10 deities. Now the 10 deities affect the spiritual level, or the spiritual energy, or the feelings, or the emotions, or the mental side of you living in this house, or the karmic level of you in the house. You know, when some people go into a property and they say, I feel great in this property, or you feel at peace, or you feel that you can think in the house, or you feel that this house is giving you a lot of innovation ideas, you feel inspired. Why certain places have a good connection with you? You check this chart out. So we like the sectors generally to have these positive stars. Okay, it means that it may not be monetary, but actually you feel and think and get inspired by positive energy. In fact, if you're making manifestation wishes or doing your awakening your achievement destiny, find out where these areas are in your house and you can use them to further your goals. So remember, you're born with one of these deities, okay? But the sector that get most of this deity's energy is, the location of this in your particular house. So let's say now you're a chief, right? You're a chief, and you find out where the chief sector is in the house, and you sleep there, work there, or spend time in that area. You sort of boost the connection with you and your actual guardian of destiny. Okay, so you want to find out where that particular direction is. Or the sixth harmony, for example, okay, wherever that sector is. Now, even if your guardian of destiny is not the sixth harmony, but you would like to sort of dial into or connect with the sixth harmony because you have a request that uses the sixth harmony, that would be the sector for it. Or the great moon, right? If you wish to access the knowledge, or if you need inspiration, or you need ideas, or you want to have specific knowledge or learn a skill, find out where the great moon sector is and tap to the great moon. Remember how to get into sage mode? We discussed this in our previous modules. Well, go to the great moon sector of your property and time yourself, of course. There are strategic execution, the specific time where the moon of the month and the day enters into your destiny palace or your knowledge palace. We're going to talk about this in the upcoming modules as well. When it enters into your knowledge palace, for example, and then at that time in the moon sector of your house, you can log in to the moon and make your request, download the knowledge to yourself. Okay, so it's a combination of space, time, space, event, matter. Remember that you got to use the right space to connect with the energy. Okay, so let me repeat how it is done. In the upcoming modules, I'm going to talk about how you could find your specific sector. It could be a destiny palace, it could be a knowledge palace, where you align the month and day with the specific deity, for example, like the moon, because you want the moon to enhance inspiration and innovation. So on the specific day, you go to the area of your house where the moon resides, and on that sector, towards your direction of the moon, and then you make that specific request. That's how you do it, okay? So in the upcoming topics where we're going to talk about how you could select the timing using the charts. And again, you already have the pathfinder, so it's a question of selecting the timing based on the palace that you want the stars to arrive on. It's quite simple, okay? So there's, in your house, there's also a sector where the 9th earth is. There's also where the sector where 9th, this is, if you want to access the 9th earth energy, you can go to the 9th earth area. Or if you need the 9 heavens for to manifest a specific vision, idea, or a plan that you have, then find the 9 heaven sector for you to use. Again, you can time this using the pathfinder for you where the 9 heavens enter into your 3 victory palace, for example, and a specific day, go to this sector, do your manifestation, or make your command, or make that wish, because you're now in the right area of your home. Can you see that we are actually combining the space, the location, together with the timing aspect and you and the subject matter that you want? All this aligned together, you can initiate a proper request to the universe to manifest your reality. Okay? Now, these are sometimes they're considered negative stars, but they're not if it's your guardian of destiny, or if you have a specific request that uses any of these particular deities here. Okay, now just remember this, that these deities don't appear together at the same chart, okay, because at any one point in time there are only 8. So not to worry, they can interchange in terms of the elements. So likewise, if you need any of these deities, let's say the black tortoise, which is extremely useful, and there's a specific formation where the black tortoise becomes extremely powerful when you align the 7-star path together with 28 constellation, and you can find the sector of the black tortoise, and then you can initiate the command. So, but just take note here though, not all the black color deities will appear at the same time in the same chart. Okay, they take turns in fact. So just take note of this. Don't worry, there are interchangeable elements here. You can look at your notes to find out which can be the replacement if you find that that specific deity is absent. So there you go. You can find the deities of the specific palace and also the door for the feng shui aspects, and you can determine if that specific room has what sort of potential and what sort of feng shui energies for yourself. And you can make a decision to choose which areas to use for your own purpose to manifest the goals that you want. So it's just a quick recap here. The doors enhances your original feng shui of the palace or the sector that you're in. Okay, so there are 4 doors that we particularly like. They're all positive: the open door, the scenery door, the rest door, and the life door. This is like all good. Whereas if they are looking at the negative doors like the death door or the harm door, the fear door, and the delusion door, they're not all bad except for death door, but the other doors you have to have specific roles or things to do, then only you can use the negative. But generally, the 4 positive doors are usually good, and it enhances any feng shui formation that you originally have in that particular sector. Okay, and how to use the 10 deities? The 10 deities are sectors where you could use for your sage mode meditation, where you want to awaken your Qi destiny, where you want to initiate a certain wish or a certain command. You can find the corresponding sector that relates to the deity that you want to activate, and use the specific month and day to make your request. Of course, the Pathfinder will allow you to find the specific day easily, because then you can actually fast forward and find when the alignment of the stars is. That will be in a later module. But for now, what I need you to do is to get your floor plans out, look at those sectors and try to understand which are the good areas and which are the areas you can use for your awakening of your Guardian of Destiny.